This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in places that could expose you to identity theft. That's why LifeLock monitors millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, their US-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Well, we are back, and all I can say, thank God it's Friday, but Larry has to work on Saturdays too. And I do too, and Sundays. Who knows? Larry, nobody understands the numbers in this economy. We're back to where we were last Friday. The market bounced back a little bit. You give us your analysis.
Well, there's a lot cooking this week. I mean, it was a bad week for stocks. Yes, there was a little better day today, but stocks down again 2% across the board for the week. I mean, my take on the stock market is it's not an interest rate thing, okay? I'm going to get to the Fed and their meeting this week, which made no sense at all. But I think anytime the market believes that the tax cuts are not coming, the Trump tax cuts or the deregulation or the Doge brothers spending cuts, anytime the market worries about that, it tends to sell off. And that's one reason why it fell for 10 straight days. And that matter has not yet been resolved. I mean, you've seen how chaotic and crazy this continuing resolution battle is. They got a new so-called clean bill. It's not a clean bill. It's a cleaner bill. Still got $120 billion in extra spending, but it does take out most of the bells and whistles. There'll be a vote on that tonight, according to Speaker Johnson, and they have scheduled a debt ceiling increase by the middle of March for $1.5 trillion, and maybe spending cuts later in the year for a couple of trillion. But it's all up in the air. But my point is, you see how difficult it is to get anything through the House. So stop thinking about multiple reconciliation bills next year. You're not going to get that. You're going to have you need one big, fat, beautiful reconciliation bill, to coin a phrase from a certain world leader. One big, fat reconciliation bill. And inside that bill is where your tax cuts are going to be, and your border closing, and your deregulation, and your drill, baby, drill. Okay? And it's very important that the Republicans reward their blue-collar, working-class voters who gave them a landslide, or almost a landslide, put more money in their pockets, put more money in their wallets. So the stock market wants to see it because there's a lower corporate tax rate in there, 15% that would help profits. So, there's a lot of confusion about this, and it's affecting the market. And the big rally we had post-November has kind of been broken up. Is this CR tonight going to pass? I don't know. They're suspending the rules. As I say, there's a new cleaner bill. They still need a 2/3 majority in the House. Can they get it? I don't know. I mean, I honestly do not know if they can get it. We'll see. If the government shuts down tomorrow, it's not the worst thing in the world. The thing that bothers me most about government shutdown is
does anybody go to work in the next 2 weeks anyway in Washington?
Well, they don't work anyway, John. Even
yes,
when they
that's what I meant.
I mean, let's get serious. Most of them stay home and don't come to work, and that's a problem that has to be dealt with. But I don't want to give Senator Schumer the whip hand. You've got a January 6th date coming up where the election votes, the electoral college votes, have to be certified. I would greatly prefer it not be under his aegis. And I also don't want the January 25th inauguration to come under Schumer's aegis. So that's what bothers me. The economics don't bother me at all. Social Security checks go out, and the Defense Department will continue. So it doesn't bother me. But, again, the lesson here is be simple. Simplify. stop talking about multiple bills next year. You need one big fat bill. Start as soon as you can in January. Get it done by the spring. Put more money in people's wallets. Let the stock market roar as it will once it sees this thing going through. That's my take on it.
Larry, Plan B.
Yeah.
Trump endorsed it. It was only 116 pages. Why did those 34 Republicans turn it down?
Well, one of the key reasons there is, and this is very unfortunate, there are no spending cuts. There's no pay goes. There's no pay fors, okay? I mean, you go back a couple of years, Kevin McCarthy, then Speaker, made a deal with Joe Biden, who was then president, or somebody was president. I guess he's AWOL. But let's assume there was a Democratic president, and he made a deal. There were so-called pay fors. So anything you spend beyond the baseline, you got to pay for it. And the reason that 35 Republican House members rebelled last night against the second so-called cleaner bill was there no pay for it. Now, this thing today is a handshake, okay? Now, I don't want to be obtuse, but there's a handshake agreement with the House member, Congressman Chip Roy from Texas, and a couple other people that said we will have $2.5 trillion in spending cuts over the course of this coming year, and then the debt ceiling will be raised in March. You know, is that real? Can they actually cash that check? I don't know. Color me highly skeptical. But, I mean, I had Rand Paul on the show. He's well known to you. You know, Rand makes a point. There's got to be some spending discipline. Yes, tax cuts are crucial for growth. But, you know, you want to curb inflation and you want to, stop the government from having a higher interest expense than defense spending. We really should think about if you want to spend more someplace, then you got to cut more someplace else. They've kind of lost that. And Republicans aren't really any better than Democrats right now. So
I think the Democrats are better. There's more loyalty in the Democratic Party than there is in the Republican Party. Governor Patterson, you wanted to say something.
Loyalty for socialism is not necessarily a virtue, but
well, then maybe they follow Putin's rules. If you're not loyal, you fall out of the fifth floor window,
right? Or a scooter, right, blows up.
Larry, if Congress had taken your advice and rolled all of those opportunities up into one big bill, do you think this Congress would have passed it?
Not this Congress, but the next Congress. In other words, the Democratic Senate would never have done it. But I'm talking about, as of January 3rd, the Republicans take over the Senate.
Very good. And that's actually what I was leading to, is that's the question that John has asked almost every guest this week.
What's the question?
About why didn't they just wait and come back on January 3rd and start doing it then?
Well, the only trouble with that is that the government shutdown, the funding runs out at midnight tonight. That's why they can't wait. Now, if you're talking about the reconciliation bills, the big fiscal packages for next year, yeah. I mean, but again, I'm arguing that should be rolled into one bill. Don't think you're going to get two or three bills. Just get one bill. It's going to be hard enough to do that.
Yeah.
Now they got tripped up. They got tripped up by the funding problem, where the existing continuing resolution, where they've been operating under now for the past, 18 months. That runs out tonight. That's the issue.
Wow.
So they're going to try to deal with that.
Larry, I'll be listening to you tomorrow. 10 o'clock.
Keep us posted. Wow.
10 o'clock to 1 o'clock on WABC worldwide and the solar system. If you play your cards right. And I'll be listening to your 3-hour show tomorrow.
Wow. And I'll be on tonight with all this, wherever it goes. Wow.
Yeah, we're all working.
We are.
Just working.
I'm working every day next week.
Yeah, Merry Christmas,
from 6 o'clock in the morning to 10 in the morning.
Even on Christmas Day.
Even on Christmas Day.
And we'll be here. We'll all be here next week, too. Yes, you'll have good company.
Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Take care. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.